Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Realize Your Power, where we give you tips, tools, and advice to give you your power. So today's episode, I want to jump right into it. I just want to ask you a question before we get started. How much is your time worth? How much is your time worth? Now, when you go and fill out a job application anywhere, they tell you how much your time is worth. They tell you it's $11 an hour will pay you, $7 an hour will pay you, $8 an hour will pay you. That's how much you're worth. So when you fill out a job application, you tell them all the skill sets you have, the degrees, certificates, clubs you've been involved with, volunteer work. They say, okay, this is how much you're worth. And you get paid that every hour. Recently in California, minimum wage has been raised to $11 an hour. Now, don't let that fool you. Cost of living in California is extremely expensive. So it's not like the cost of living is low and you get paid $11 an hour. They make sure that if you're getting paid $11 an hour, it's still almost impossible to live in California. So it doesn't add up. The amount of money that they're willing to pay you for your time does not add up to your everyday living expenses. So what does how much is your time worth have to do with anything? Well, like I said, other people are giving you what they believe your time is worth. Have you ever sat down and said, how much is my time really worth? Let me set my own minimum wage. And your minimum wage is the expectation that you're setting for yourself. And then what I want you to do is, whatever that number is that you put on there, I want you to times it by 10. And the reason I want you to times it by 10 is because a lot of time we underestimate ourselves. We don't give ourselves a lot of credit for what we have to offer. So I want to challenge you to times that number that you just wrote down by 10, or the number you put in your head, times it by 10. So what brought me to this subject matter? Well, I had a friend who was flying. And I told my friend about an app called Hopper. It's a really cool app. It helps you get cheap plane tickets for a discounted price. And it's legit. Thought it was a cool website. And I told my friend about it. I said, look, buy your plane ticket from this app. It's a lot cheaper. She said, okay, cool. I'll buy from the app. She goes to the app. She gets these plane tickets. She sends me confirmation of her plane ticket. I'm like, okay, perfect. Wow, she got plane tickets for $160. That's really cool. Then I looked at the times she was flying and the city she was flying into. I said, wait, look at the time that you're flying and then look at the city that you're flying into. That's not the city that I'm at. She said, yeah, I know. I'm going to drive down to where you're at. I said, well, that's a waste of time. No, but it's cheaper. So I didn't feel like arguing. I didn't feel like going into no speech about the importance of your time and how much is your time worth. Instead, I decided to put it on the podcast. And so trying to explain to myself why she would believe that she's saving money when it's actually probably costing her money. So here's my little quote, my advice to you guys. Use your time wisely because it may be costing you money. Yeah, she bought a cheaper plane ticket, but she's flying into a whole nother city. It's going to take her 2-3 hours to drive. That's time she could have been using to find a new job that pays her better than what she's getting paid now. Dedicate herself to her own business. Dedicate herself to her kids or whatever it is that she has. It's costing her money, her having to drive, sit in traffic. That's costing you money. When you go to work, and you tell your job, hey, I won't be able to come in for another 3 hours. Do you think they tell you, don't worry about it, we'll pay you for those 3 hours? No, they don't. They say, perfect. Well, whenever you come in is when we'll punch the clock. That's when we'll get things going. So if your job, who really doesn't care about you like that, is doing that to you, why aren't you holding your own self accountable to that same thinking? Like, okay, let me use as much time as possible, because the more time I'll waste being not productive, it's costing me money. So I was talking to another friend, and they seem to understand the mentality of how much is your time worth. They were saying, well, I fly first class. I said, well, why do you fly first class? They said, well, I fly first class because it will cost me more for me to fly coach. I said, well, how is that possible? Because coach is actually a lot cheaper. They said, no. See, that's the thinking of you. You need to change your thinking. So same way I was with my friend. Now my other friend was doing it to me. And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, I boarded the plane before you. I said, yeah, that's true. But the plane takes off at the same time. It's not like your plane leaves earlier than mine, or you get there quicker than me. She said, no, you're right. But by the time you get near the plane, and by the time you get to your seat, I've already been served my food. I've already been asked several times if I'm comfortable. And I have leg room for me to work. She said, have you ever tried to pull out your laptop back there? I said, yeah, sometimes it worked. And I'm 5'0". So if I'm squished in those seats, anyone past 5 foot something is squished in those seats. So she said, yeah, it's not comfortable, is it? I said, no, it's kind of hard to work. And then the person next to you, if they don't want the light on, you got to be considerate if you're a considerate person. She said, exactly. She said, I don't deal with that in coach. I'm working on stuff. So if we got a 5-hour flight to New York, I'm working. You sitting back there hoping that the person next to you won't mind that you got the light on, or that you're able to pull out your laptop or whatever it is. I don't worry about those things. Not only that, but when I get off the plane, I get off first and my bags are waiting for me. You have to go down and wait for your bags to come and all this stuff. By the time you get your first bag, I'm already gone, probably at the hotel, because I get a 40-minute head start on you. Because I board the plane first, I get off the plane first, my bag's are already ready. I said, oh, well, you're right. 40 minutes may not seem like a big deal, but when you put a price tag on your time, it becomes a big deal. It becomes a huge deal for you. So that's why I asked you, how much is your time really worth? Are you wasting time? How much money are you losing by you wasting time constantly? So if I had to give you a tool to use, one of my favorite websites that my mentor actually told me about is eggtimer.com. But you don't spell it EGG. You spell it E.GGTIMER.com. Eggtimer.com. Eggtimer.com actually helps you manage your time. I love the website. Just play around with it. It's the coolest thing ever. It helps you stay focused on task, and it also helps other people not waste your time. So at my job, I use it when I meet with my students. So if I have a 30-minute appointment with a student, put the timer up there. Hey, we got 30 minutes to work. So this is your appointment. You tell me what you need and what needs to be done. You're in charge, but you got 30 minutes. Let the timer run. It really helps them stay focused. If they're there to talk about an educational plan, they stay focused. They're like, oh, she got the timer going. They got 30 minutes to talk about this. If they want to transfer to a different school, I got 30 minutes to talk about this. And it really helps them respect my time. And it allows them to see that I respect their time too. Because we're only going to talk about relevant subject matter. That's it. We're not talking about anything else. Because how much is your time worth? So what I'm encouraging everybody to do is, I'm encouraging everybody, please, whatever you do, put a price tag on your time. Stop letting jobs tell you how much your time is worth. And you tell yourself how much your time is worth. So today's episode, how much is your time worth? Times it by 10. Use eggtimer.com, E.GGTIMER.com, eggtimer.com, to help you stay on task. And remember to put a price tag on your time. Now, before I get out of here, I just want to remind you guys to visit the website, SadeBurrell.com. Make sure you check out my book, What are you reaching for? And all of this is mentioned in my book. I mean, if you're looking for a great read, I'm not just saying it because I'm the author of the book, but I'm saying it because it really is a good book. And I've heard back from great people who are telling me that they're enjoying the book and that it's really helping them change their lives. We have worksheets in the book that discuss managing your time and changing your circles and surrounding yourself with people who are going to influence you and in a positive way. So make sure you go to the website, SadeBurrell.com, to check it out. Make sure you also subscribe so that you can get my weekly emails that I send out to everyone. And pick up a t-shirt too. We got the Stand for Something t-shirts on the website. We got them in the female and the male version. Stand for Something. A lot of people ask me, what is that? Well, this has something to do with time. You know, what do you stand for? If people were to say your name, what would they say after it? You know, and that represents what you stand for. So if people were to say my name, they would mention she stands for encouraging others. She stands for encouraging herself. She stands for family. She stands for community. She stands for unity. She stands for inspiration. So ask yourself what you stand for. And while you're asking yourself that, like I said, go to the website, SadeBurrell.com. Check out the shirt. All right. So thank you for spending your time listening to this podcast. I truly appreciate it. And I don't take your time lightly because I'm assuming that your time is worth a lot of money. And the fact that you took the time out of your day to listen to this, please know I truly appreciate it. Thank you for listening to another episode of Realize Your Power, where we give you tips, tools, and advice to give you back the power. Have a great one. Everyone, enjoy your day. Keep living the life that you need to be living. If you're not living it, get back on track. Because remember, if you don't tell others how much your time is worth, someone's going to put a price tag on your time, and you may not agree with it. This is Sade Burrell. Have a great day. I appreciate you. Infinite possibility.